Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Scrambling and Rambling podcast with Becca and Greg. I am one of your hosts, Greg, and I'm joined by my co host, Bionic Becca. How are you doing today, Becca?
I'm great. I'm bionic and I'm doing well. Yeah.
You, uh, you are here with one of my favorite people that I've ever met at a trade show. Please introduce us to my friend Brandy.
Yes. Yes. Today we're going to meet Brandy. Thank you for joining us. She's a badass melanoma survivor and founder of sunscreen company Melon. She's Brandy Corbello. Thank
Yeah,
you for joining us.
thanks
Yeah.
for having me. I'm excited to be here with you. Greg is also one of my favorite people I've ever met at trade show, so the feeling is mutual.
What trade show did you guys meet at?
Outdoor retailer
And what was it, 2 years ago in Salt Lake City? 3 years ago, maybe
two
now?
years ago, yeah.
For those of you who don't know, trade shows are kind of I mean, they're fun, but they're also like you see the same people over and over and over again. And like, if you have a booth, you just get like you say the same story 150 times, and then as a person who's like quote unquote in the media, and I'm going around and talking to all the people at booths, I hear a different version of the same story about 100,000 times. And I got up to Brandy's booth, and she literally, you guys weren't even launched yet, right? That was
We're
before.
launching in a month, yeah.
Yeah, and you had everything set up. You had footballs. You had. I mean, I think I was one of the first people that talked to you too, and you were telling me your story, and I'm like, "This is amazing." I ended up coming back like 4 times just to hang out with you guys because it was so much fun.
We're also yeah, because we're also fun. Like I think like a lot of times, I mean, new to the trade show game, but those people at the booths are so serious. We're like we're gonna have fun. I mean, like obviously we have like something we want to do, but also like humans. Like, let's
Yeah.
have a little bit of fun while we're all hanging out in a convention center for a couple of days.
Right. Why not?
I think that's kind of the fun part about being like a startup company too, is that you don't know the rules. You don't know that you're supposed to show up there and have a price list and do all the boring like this is product one. These are the color trends that I'm going to do for the next 5 years. Like none of that's you're just like, hey, this is my new product and I'm so excited about it and I get to sell it. And there's so much energy in that startup world. And like you guys brought it, like you guys had that energy going. It was great to see.
Yeah, I remember at Outdoor Retailer, people were like, "Do you have an order form?" I was like, "No, what's that?"
Yeah, well, why
Isn't
don't
it?
you tell us a little bit about Melon? Just to like give listeners an idea of what Melon is, what the mission is, how it kind of came to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
In the intro, Becca, you mentioned that I'm a melanoma survivor. So in 2019, I was diagnosed with stage 3 melanoma at the wonderful age of 30. So I was very young. I love being outside. And I think a lot of melanoma survivors go through this like guilt of like, okay, how do I go outside, like, and continue to live my life? Because you're so young when you get diagnosed. So what I did is I started adding sunscreen into my daily routine. Hated a lot of the sunscreens on the on the shelves. Um, and I just started asking a lot of questions. I was very curious about the ingredient profile. Why did I hate it? Why was it miserable to put on? And like, what could you do to make it more comfortable or something that doesn't even feel like you're wearing sunscreen? Is like really the questions I had. So I met a chemist, met a few manufacturers, and basically ended up just self-funding a sunscreen company, Melan. So Melon launched in July of last year. So we're still fresh meat, if you will. But I would say like our mission is like threefold. The first is to bring like a really great the second was to give back to melanoma research. So I'm very fortunate that my life has been extended in the way it has because of melanoma research. So we give back a percentage of proceeds on every single purchase to Melanoma Research Alliance. And then lastly, like as we were starting to launch the brand, I felt like the shelf of sunscreen had gotten quite stale. So you see like a lot of like blues, orange, yellow, white, very like simple fonts. It's like, and I was like, how do we like revitalize this shelf? Like, how do we make sunscreen like fun? And how do you make it something like people want to engage in and not just something where it's like, oh, I have to get it because I don't want to get a sunburn? It's like, no, you want to get it because like it is a great product and you feel like you can be a part of it.
Tell me a little bit about that journey from, obviously you didn't like find out you had melanoma and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna make sunscreen," you know?
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's a whole process you had to go through, of all the treatment of that. But what kind of made you turn your head? Like, when was that in your mind to be like, you know what, I'm going to do something to change this?
Yeah, I would say so. I got diagnosed. I run a lot outside. Got diagnosed, started wearing sunscreen, was going through treatment. I was trying all sorts of sunscreens, didn't really like them. I think anybody who is a cancer patient or survivor will understand this. When when you get diagnosed with like a stage 3 like cancer diagnosis, you start to really pay attention to like what you put in and on your body because it's like one of the few things you can control, right? Like I can't control this cancer, like it's I can't, but what I can control is like how I take care of myself, and that's like what I eat, what I put on my body, and like really how I'm taking care of myself. So you really get super obsessed with ingredient profiles of anything that you're using. And at the time, because I was running outside, I was just trying a bunch of different sunscreens. I was just like obsessed with the ingredient profiles, like really like trying to understand them. Because I was trying to figure out why I didn't like them. Like I hated all of them. I had probably three products that I liked. So like I liked the ingredient profile, I liked how it felt generally, and I was like, oh, this is great. Well, about 2 years after I got diagnosed, every single one of those products was sold out. I couldn't get it on Amazon. I couldn't get it like on a shelf anywhere. Like, and I was like, what the heck? And the only like SPF that was available in those products was 70, which, by the way, like 70 doesn't do anything for you. After 50, it's diminishing returns. And I was like, I'm not going to buy 70. Like, and if that's the only thing that's available, like maybe there's something going on in this market, you know? And I started digging into it and realized a lot of Americans are caring more and more about the ingredient profile of any product that they're picking up. And I think it's always started with food, right? And
Mm.
then you get into then and now it's starting to shift into skincare. So I felt like with that being like true, as well as like looking at the sunscreen market in general, it continues to grow year over year in the US. More and more Americans wear sunscreen every year. I think fortunately, because we've been able to educate on melanoma, sun safety awareness, and they're starting to wear it more every day. So, like most, especially women, will at least wear like a sunscreen on their face every single day. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. So I felt like there was like a market for it. I also felt like there was room for another great product to enter the market in a different way. But then I just started diving into like chemists and manufacturers, just to figure out like is it actually possible? And that was just like a lot of Google searching, you know, and just like making like random phone calls. And I realized like probably after a year after that product was sold out, like it's possible, and I launched like a year later.
Nice.
Oh, it's crazy.
Was there anything in your background already that prepared you for like launching a company, or like did you have to learn everything?
Well, I would say like I've been really blessed in my career. I work in commercial real estate. So I see a lot of companies all the time, like different types of companies, like consumer product good companies, banking companies, legal companies. I've seen like the gamut of enterprises that exist in the US, which has always been nice. But I would say as far as like launching and doing all that stuff, no. But I think like just general like curiosity and like just being able to ask questions and dive into things to understand like what's needed and like how do you get it done. I'm a problem solver at work, right? Like that's really what led me there. Like I even remember like our first package run, like we sent it to our manufacturer and he was like, you don't have a barcode. And I was like, oh shoot, how do I do that? Like, and then I like had to figure out how to get a barcode. And it's a whole process. You can't just make it up.
I would never have thought about even just like, yeah, a barcode.
Yeah.
One small step in the whole process. That's,
I have
yeah.
no idea. It delayed me 2 weeks.
What would you say was harder to figure out, the business side of it or the chemistry side of it? And did you work with doctors with it, and did you work with like somebody to help you on the business side, or was this just kind of all your own, doing research, meeting the right people?
I would say like the business side of it was not as challenging for me. I think for me it was like more about like if I talk about like the business side, like what was a challenge of like launching it, it was really like around like brand, like what are we going to brand this thing and how do we want to market it? So that was tough. But the chemistry part I would say is the biggest challenge. I'm not a chemist by trade, nor should I be. But I was able to find somebody who is a chemist and does a lot in like skincare and understands like what is clean. And we have all these apps now that like Yuka and I think some others that people use that like a lot of people use as like gospel, and they're actually not. They're very biased, right? There's like a lot of lawsuits against them right now because some of the stuff that they're suggesting are like, you know, bad for you. It's like, well, the level that ingredient is in that product is actually not going to like do anything. So just being able to find somebody that I could trust, because I think what's really important that people fail to forget in a shelf product space is that you need shelf stability, right? Like I could make a really clean product, like a very clean product, but in 3 months it's going to have mold and yeast in it. So like that is like, I think that was always the tough part, is like you have to make like compromises to make sure that you have a shelf stable product and a product that's going to stay consistent while it's on the shelf. So like not just like last on the shelf for 2 years, but isn't going to like settle, meaning like if you spray it today, you're going to get like a different SPF experience than if you spray it in 2 years. And like those are like the like things I had to learn, because I was very much like, no. And then I like realized like, well, actually that's really important, like, that you have a consistent experience and it's stable. So that was probably the hardest part for me.
How long did that take, like working with a chemist and coming up with the formula?
It took us like a year, but now like we're pretty now if it's like we launched our third product this year. We're always working on products, just a matter of like when the company can handle another product to launch. Now like if we wanted to launch a product, like we could get it out. The packaging takes the longest, probably in like 6 to 9 months. But the first one took a little bit, because I was like, what is that? It's like, well, you don't want mold or yeast in this, do you? I'm like, not really. Thanks.
One of my favorite parts is I feel like every sunscreen smells like coconuts. And like I was so like I'm over that. I don't like the smell of coconuts in the morning, but yours smells kind of like fruity and like watermelon basically, and like kind of has that really nice fresh scent. How important was that to you to kind of change that mindset of like if it's not a coconut, it's not protecting you from sun?
Yeah, that was actually like one of the key things that we talked about. Is I said I don't want it to smell like sunscreen, because I feel like that's like people are like, oh, I still have my sunscreen on because they smell like it. And I think that like that also is like why I think that's why we in the US have had such a bad experience with sunscreen, because it's like, oh, it's getting sprayed, it's on, like it just has that smell. I wanted it to smell like your favorite lotion, where it's like, this is fresh and I like love the smell of it. It's light, it's subtle. It's like I don't know that I'm wearing sunscreen. So that was definitely a number one priority. So anything that was like banana or coconut, even like mango or like pineapple, like I was like, no, get it out. So we went very like rosemary, like basil, citrusy, right? So like it's just a little bit more fresh. And we don't use an artificial fragrance. So everything that you smell is like an essential oil. So it's actually like helping your skin too, which is nice.
That is nice. That actually sounds really nice because I do think like I wear sunscreen on my face that's unscented and it's just like moisturizing. But when I think of body lotion, I do think like, or body sunscreen, I
Yeah.
do think of just like the coconut, like beachy. So it's like you have this association. You don't think about your everyday life
Well, you
when you
have an
think of sunscreen.
association that you only wear it when you're at the pool or the
Right.
beach because of that smell, right? It's like, oh,
Right.
only when I'm on a tropical vacation should I be using this. It's like, no, you should just wear it every day. It's fine.
Yeah. How did you settle on the name and the branding?
Yeah, that was a different one. So we originally the company was actually going to be Nuda, which translates to naked in Italian and Spanish. And it's because in the melanoma community, there's a campaign. It's hashtag get naked. What that means is like you go get naked for your dermatologist once a year. It's like really like a push on that. So originally I thought like, oh, this is going to be like a really sleek and like sexy brand. So like our packaging design was going to be all black. It was going to be like black matte, and black is the color of the melanoma ribbon. So people like even ask me on our product today, like why I have like black on it. It's to pay like tribute to like our founding story. But originally it was going to be this like sleek matte black, like sexy brand, and we were about to go hit print. I was actually flying to Miami to go see our packaging get printed. And I had gone through a trademark attorney, not because I felt like I needed trademarking like at the time. I now we do, but I wanted to make sure that whatever I did, I wouldn't have problems like down the road. And my friend who's a trademark attorney called me like right when I landed in Miami. Mind you, we're printing like the next day, and said, "You need a rebrand." And I was like, "Wait, what?" He was like, "You're never going to get away with Nuda." And I asked why, but there's like a spray tan company. They make the product for spray tan called Nuda that it's trademarked. And like while it's not sunscreen, we sit in the same category of classification for trademarking. So I basically had like 24 hours to like turn it around. What's really interesting, and I'll share this too, is like I had done like brand testing like in the market to see like how people would react to the brand. And the moms like hated everything about Nuda. They were like, it's too sexy. Like I'll never like have it like around my kids. And I was like, moms can be sexy too. You'll come around. Like that's
Yeah.
literally like what I thought. So I ended up going for a pretty long run. While I was on the run, I was like, I was like really stuck on this like nude or like naked idea, and I just like couldn't get off of it. And I stopped myself, and it's like, God is telling you that like it is not naked. Like it's not nude. Like you got to get over it. Like there's a reason, you know? So then I just kind of went down like, why am I doing this? What's the purpose? Obviously I had a melanoma diagnosis. It pushed me into like sunscreen, but I mean like that's not really the reason why. Like it is like a big part of our founding story, but the reason why is because I wanted to bring cleaner products to people, and I wanted to like revitalize the shelf. So that's when I like really started like shifting my mind a bit. I had on the plane listened to how I built this. The Bombas founder was like talking about how they named Bombas. It's basically like bee in Latin or Greek or something in it, but they changed one letter of the
Mm.
word. So like that way, like when you Googled it, it wouldn't like come up with all this like Greek mythology. You would go to Bombas, the socks company. And I was like, okay, what if I try to figure out how to change one letter in a word, like this Bombas founder had done? And I was like, obviously I was saying melanoma over and over again in my head, and I was like, oh, Melon. I was like, what if we just called it Melon? But then we made the brand like really fun and like fresh, like melons, like the fruit, but also like it could be really punny, which like kind of like leans itself towards what I'm really trying to do on the shelf, right? Like protect your rind,
Mm.
like you're one in a melon. Like there's like so
Mm.
many like ways you could take it. And I went back to my hotel. My friend who like was my designer, we like redesigned it all like in 2 hours, sent it to the package company.
That's amazing.
Isn't
It's
that crazy?
Well, and it's always good to not have to explain to the mothers, like, "You should do this. Trust me. I'm right. You're wrong." Instead, now you're like, "Look, you have this wonderful sunscreen that is orange and pink and black and,
And
is
kids love
perfect.
it.
And kids love it because it's about water. It's melon and it's fresh and it's fruit, and it's, so I think you made the right decision
Well,
on
so
that.
what's funny is we took that same like study group that we did with Nuda, and we sent them Melon, and we earned like another like 70 basis points of like being approved. and it was like the moms who ended up loving it. And I was like,
Oh.
maybe this is the right thing. And like more men liked it too, which it was also really important. But yeah, it's
Mhm.
crazy.
It's so hard when you have that idea in your head
You're obsessed.
to then
Yeah,
change and pivot on that idea. So I commend you for being able to do that.
Well, I think it's like, it's funny when I share that I didn't have a choice. Like, I was like put up against a wall. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't
hmm
have a lot of time to think about it. Like, I think if I had time to think about it, it would have gone different. But since I was like literally cornered, like, I had no choice, like,
hmm
and that is like the biggest blessing of all is like not having the time to really like, you're like scrambling, and you're like, I don't have a choice right now. Like, I have to figure something else out.
There are still a lot of people who would actually just stick to that and fail, and that's why we don't hear about them. That's why they're not on the Scrambling and Rambling podcast, because
True.
they were too stubborn. And you were smart enough to realize like you had to make that change, and I think it's been a wonderful change. Like you said, the marketing is amazing for Melon.
It's
I
so
hmm
love
much
it.
better. Like, it's so funny though. Like, I remember I had a few friends who knew what I was doing at the time. And I was like, hey, and they were all obsessed with Nudo. The packaging was pretty cool. It was like, it was going to be a really sleek brand. And I had called them. I was like, so I'm completely changing this just so you guys know. Cause like, they're like my few friends I knew I was doing. I was like, it's going to be a little different. And I told them, and they were all like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But now they're all like, it's actually the best. I'm like, I know. Like, I was like, I knew you would come around, but yeah, it's funny.
And I feel like it works really well with the social media presence that you've built on like Melon social media, where it's like very fun and like it just feels very lively, which I feel like would have been maybe different had it been that sleek, black, like
Yeah,
sexier
no,
look.
I don't think I would have been able. What's been really great about the brand, it's founder led. And I'm like, I mean, Greg's met me. I'm like a little like I'm fun, and like I'm a little like goofy and like silly and I like to laugh. And like what's been really great about the brand being founder led is it's like totally allowed me to be like authentically myself as the founder, which I think has been really great. And it's like, it's projecting, like when we like show up, which I think is it's been really great.
When I met you, it was you and then your two friends that were
Mackenzie.
helping you with the marketing. Is that still the size of the company?
Yeah, so we have a social media manager now, and just me and a few friends running the show like off the side of our desk right now.
That's great. One of the other things I think that people underestimate about sunscreen and melon in general is that it does a good job of like moisturizing the skin when it's not like you don't get that sticky feeling. Like how important was that? Again, we're going back to changing the mindset of sunscreen, but like how focused were you on that moisturizing aspect of it and making it more like a lotion?
Yeah, that was like priority number two. So, like I mentioned, 75% of sunscreens on the shelf in the US are just sunblock. That's like how they would be classified. So, what that means is like everything that's in the bottle is just there to block the sun, meaning it does nothing else for you. Um, so, that means 25% of bottles on the shelf are like what they would call as multi-dimensional, so meaning they like hydrate and like moisturize, like they give you a little bit more than just being sunscreen. So that was a huge priority because I wanted to wear sunscreen every day and I don't want it to just be sunblock. I want it to be something that's actually going to like help my skin. There's a lot of crazy things that happen when you're outside in the sun. You have all these free radicals on your skin that kind of go wild, and like sunblock doesn't really help calm them down. But if you're hydrating and like moisturizing your skin, like those free radicals tend to like be a little bit more calm while you're outside. But also it's just feels good on your skin because you don't feel like you're getting dried out. And I think that's what a lot of like sunblock does is it dries your skin out, and you don't feel like you're wearing sunscreen. You feel like you're wearing a nice lotion. And yeah, it was like priority number two for sure.
You mentioned that you like to spend a lot of time outside, and then you share that story of like going for a run and kind of realizing like how you might want to rebrand Melon. What do you like what outdoor activities do you enjoy? Obviously running, like what role has that played, I guess, in your life, but also like maybe even with Melon?
Yeah, I mean, I played volleyball, indoor volleyball, but through college, but I also played sand volleyball in the summers just to like train. So I was outside all summer long just playing volleyball since I was in high school. So outside all the time for that. I run, I have a dog, her and I are outside all the time. Like I live in Chicago, which in the summer is the best city in the US. Don't at me. But uh, like you just go outside and you sit like in the park or you go like sit on the beach and like, like you're reading or you're hanging out with friends. Like, so I'm outside all the time and it's played a huge role with like Melon. I think everything we do is, like we're usually outside, but like it's also like trying to push for like that everyday use. That's always like the tough balance. But um we enjoy being at events where we have like-minded like folks, right? So like they care a lot about like health and wellness, but they're like kind of they're going to be outside all day, so we want to make sure we're there to like be a part of that community at those events. I don't know if that answers your question, but
Oh yeah, no, and like what I am curious too, because like along with that, I've noticed on your social media, it looks like you go to a lot of fun events. So
yeah.
what, like how, like what are some of the more fun ones you've been to? What are some of the interesting ones? And like how do you like decide where Melon should go?
Yeah, I would say last year, so well this year, it was like our first full year, so we were like really like trialing like different things, like where should we actually be present versus where can like just the product be present. So like this year we like showed up to everything because we really wanted to get a sense of like what types of events like does the product need to show up at and what type of events do we should we really be at, meaning like we're like completely set up, right? So I think we learned a lot, so you'll see like a little bit less of us showing up at things and you'll still see Melon at events because like we've learned like where should Melon be on its own because it's fine on its own and like where do we need to be. But I would say like my favorite event that we did this year was Running Man Festival. So it's basically like a weekend running festival out in Rome, Georgia. So like a play on Burning Man, but Running Man. But think like it's more than just running. Like it's like a total like health and wellness like weekend. So they have, like cold plunges and saunas and they have all types of like events throughout the day, like yoga, like and like mindfulness, and it's totally like who we are as well. So I think we just met a lot of like really amazing people. It's super intimate. Like there's only, like 2,500 people there. So like you really get to like know people, which is really nice. But it's just fun. Like everybody is just like really enjoying themselves. There's stuff to do like as soon as you hit the ground, like through the night, like and people are camping out there and it's like just fun. And like everybody's just thrilled to be there. That I would say it was like surprisingly my favorite. And it was like at the end of the summer, which was really nice. Also, all the other brands there were just amazing. And I think we ended up leaving with like a ton of like really like great friends, even from the brand side. So they just put on a really great event. So that was probably my favorite one. We also we did like a couple of like CrossFit events outside, which are really great as well. It's like, I would say it's a little different than like the Running Man Festival because it's like very like competition focused and less like there is community, but not as much community. But those have been really great for us, like Wadapalooza. And then we've done like, like paddle or like pickleball events, which we really enjoy and we'll probably double down on some of those this coming year.
You've said you've made a lot of changes into your marketing approach for this year. You've also said you launched 3 products over the
Yeah.
last year. So what are the 3 products and what's next for Melon when it comes to products?
Yeah, so our 3 products are conventional spray, conventional lotion, and then our mineral spray. Everything we have right now is SPF 30. And we'll continue. You'll kind of like see us like pull out our whole 30 line before we go into another SPF, just so you can start to see our product philosophy in general. Um, Our next product will likely be our everyday face lotion. And that either comes in 26 or 27. It just depends. It's probably going to be a 27 if I had to guess. We've got a lot to do next year with the 3 products that we already have. There's also a lot changing right now in like the sunscreen ingredient profile. The FDA is starting to approve new ingredients into the US. So it's kind of like, do you really launch another product or you wait and see like what that looks like and how it could impact, especially as a startup, right? I think it's like easier for like a big company to like pivot, but for us, like if we're sitting on inventory with like old ingredients when there's new ones, it's not a good place to be in. So I kind of want to see what happens with all of that in 26. But if I had to take a guess, it'll be our everyday face, and then we'll do like a very similar lotion that's mineral based to like our conventional lotion that we have today. Those are like the next 2. I would say those are like 27 if I had to take a guess.
Where can people find all of these products?
Oh, that's a good question. Amazon. We're in like 40 boutique retailers right now, which will be on our website hopefully in the next month or so. And then on our website, melansuncare.com.
I let
Where
you get that
else?
plug in there.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say where else can we find Melon, like social media wise? And
Yeah, social media. So we're on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, melon.suncare. They're all the same. So you can follow us on any of those. YouTube Shorts is really like a thing. Who knew?
I didn't look to see if you were on YouTube, but I wondered if you were because I had seen an Instagram video it was like a little series it looked like that you were doing called Towel Talk.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
wondered if that would become, if that was like, is that on your YouTube channel? Do you do Towel Talk?
We tested a few of those this year and we really liked it. So we'll probably push that a little bit more next year. So this year was like, let's see like what would stick, and people seem to like the towel talks. So that'll be a thing next year.
You also did a full-on production with your friend. I think her name is Faye, maybe, or
Pizza
Fee.
coffee, yeah.
Fee, yeah. Where I mean, that was like cinematic quality, like
It
high
was
level.
good.
Yeah, how was it? Were you directing? Were you producing?
I was the creative producer of that.
nice? How'd you like shifting from sunscreen to cinema?
Listen, I was like, I think that Nike should call me because if you go like look at that, it's pretty good.
I don't know that you would even take Nike's call at this point. I mean, that was top level. That was like Emmy worthy quality there.
I
It's
thought
great.
so too. I was like, dang, people should call me and ask me for advice. That's what
Yeah.
when they sent it to me, I was like, I'm pretty good. They're creative.
And when are you going to do a video like that featuring the Fat Man to make sure? I mean, that's a whole nother audience out there. I've got way more
Wait,
skin than
we
me.
actually should.
Way more skin.
I'm telling you, like, there's a lot more surface to cover than
I think I think I could take that to a really funny level too, which would
Mhm.
be amazing.
Fee's like a professional like athlete at this. I mean, she's built, and then you got me. I'm just saying,
I think
yin and the yang of
that's such a
comedy
good
right there.
angle. I'm
We'll work
in.
on that. I love it. Brandy, we're going to get into our scrambling, which are rapid fire here pretty soon. But we want to give you like 1 minute to convince everyone out there why
Mhm.
they should shop Melon Sun Care.
Ooh, okay. Melon is a few reasons. One, you're going to get a multi-dimensional product, so it doesn't feel like you're wearing sunscreen. It's going to hydrate and moisturize your skin. Two, we give back to melanoma research on every single purchase. And three, like, it's just fun, like have fun, enjoy it, share it with your friends and your family. It's like it's made for everyone, right? And I think that's what's most important.
Can I add to that? Can I add a 4 and a 5? Four.
Yeah.
It's run by Brandy. Like, you are
Mhm.
the founder, the CEO, you created the whole thing. There's like 3 people in your company, so you'd rather give it to you than some big
Mhm.
pharmaceutical company out there, right? So you got to shop women owned, small
Mhm.
business. Everything that you're looking for right there is from Melon.
That's
I'm
true.
in.
And it's like all these, what's interesting, right, that's going on right now. I'll just share this after you said that is all of these like small brands that people like know of, right? They're like, oh, this was like a small brand. Like they've been bought by a very large company. And what's interesting now is the big conglomerate, like consumer product good manufacturer companies, they're starting to like come up with brands that look small because they don't want to lose like market share of their big brands.
How
It's
can
Isn't that
someone
crazy?
tell? What's a good way for someone to figure out
It
that it's
says
not a
that
small brand?
it says like on the back of the package that it's manufactured or
Mm,
distributed by like
Johnson and
said big
Johnson, or
company.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's kind of like that craft beer world, which was
Mm,
all these independent little craft breweries, and now they're all owned by Molson Coors or Budweiser or InBev or
right.
whatever, where they've just bought them all up, and you're like, oh, I want to support this local brewery, but it's actually being owned by some giant
Hmm.
brewer somewhere down the line, you know. So it's
Hmm.
nice to have one of those independent companies still, you know. And like I said, small, three people, women owned, you know, it's everything you want out of who to support out there. So check it out, melansuncare.com.
Yes.
And Brandy, thank you so much for that part of it.
Heck
Now
yeah.
it's time to get serious, because now it's
Okay.
time to get scrambling, where we have a rapid
Scrambling.
fire question segment of our show. Becca, you're going to put 3 minutes on the clock, right?
Hmm.
We're
Really, we're gonna just ask random questions, very
Okay.
super random, and then you are in a competition with all the other guests to answer the
Wow.
most. I
Wow.
think our record right now is 11, 17.
Kai
I
went big.
forget.
We
Oh
don't
wait,
remember.
it was 18. I have it in my
Wow.
notes.
Okay.
And the winner
Nice.
So,
gets the winner gets a bottle of Melon Sun Care. So
Yeah. Hey, we will we'll sponsor that. We'll send a PR package to the winner.
yes, we love this. All right, Becca, 3 minutes on
okay.
the clock, and
Yeah.
we'll start on your first question.
Okay. I have the timer. Are you ready, Brandy?
I'm ready.
Okay. Favorite ice cream flavor?
A chocolate chip cookie dough.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Biggest sunscreen pet peeve?
Ooh, biggest pet peeve is when it's more alcohol than aloe. Or actually I'll take that back. When people say that sunscreen causes cancer. That's
Oh,
my biggest sunscreen pet peeve.
This is a very good one. Read a book or watch TV?
Read a book.
best outdoor smell?
Ooh, I would say like pine cone, like just pine. I love that smell.
Watermelon or pineapple?
Watermelon all day.
Stole one of my questions. Worst outdoor smell?
Worst outdoor smell? Dog poop.
Yeah.
My biggest outdoor pet peeve is people that leave the bags. Sorry.
It's true. When they just leave the bag, you're like, oh, you took it one step. Good
You're
job.
so close, right? Road trip, or would you like to fly to your destination?
Depends. So road trip if you're going like out to the west, fly if you're going to another country.
Let's see. Best form of potato.
French fries.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, don't at me.
What
Favorite winter activity.
Skiing.
You said Chicago's the best city in the summer. What's the best city in the winter?
Ooh, ooh. I want to say Park City. Right now, Park City is stealing my heart these days.
It is lovely.
Podcast, music, or nothing while running.
Music.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Favorite tree.
My favorite tree? Wow, that's a tough one. I don't really look at trees often. I'm gonna go with maple because that's what most of my furniture is made out of.
There you go.
And the best leaves in the winter or in the fall. If you could run with one person, who would it be?
Melly, my dog.
Oh. Favorite national park.
Ooh, I like going to the Tetons. Is that considered a national park?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm out of breakfast or dinner.
Out of
Which one's your favorite? Breakfast foods or dinner foods?
breakfast all day.
What is your favorite breakfast food? That actually was my next question.
Ooh, I love a nice yogurt with strawberries and like a local honey.
Correct answer is bacon. Um, I'm out of questions. Becca, we got to make
Time's
this
up.
shorter than three
Time's up.
minutes. You're
That was the
killing me with
timer.
these three. Everybody's so good at this.
I
We've
know
got
we're getting faster. We need
we
to
have,
come up with harder questions. That was even with your little poop bag.
I
Yeah.
threw the game. I'll be honest.
But
I
still,
do
that
that
was
from time to time.
19.
19
Yep.
takes
Winning.
the lead.
Yeah, 19. Current winner.
All
Brandy is our current winner.
I'm about to ask chemistry questions on the next one because we run like 20 questions out and then we run out of them because you guys are too.
You
Yeah.
should definitely run like some like math equations, you know, like
Just throw one in there.
On like the third question, be like, what is the square root hypothesis of the right angle of a circle? I know none of those things. They're the only four math words I know, and I know they don't actually go anywhere, but
The thing is we have to know the answer to the question.
it's
that's
true.
true. Brandy, thank you so much for not only being on the podcast, but also for what you're doing out there. You're trying to make people healthier, and you're telling your story to kind of help people, live a better life. So we appreciate that. And also for changing the name from naked to watermelon, so we can talk to you because we're not about the naked here.
Yeah, yeah. Can't let it be too sexy.
Can't be too sexy,
Yeah, can't be
guys.
too sexy.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate you all.
All right. Well, that's our time for today. Thanks for listening to us ramble. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram at Scrambling and Rambling Pod. And if you would like to make a graphic art cover for us, we are still taking submissions. You can email us at scramblingandramblingpod@gmail.com. Until next time, enjoy your rambles.